The Bill of Rights, Amendments 6 through 10. Amendment 6 says, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Okay, that's a mouthful. Let's try to break this down. The Sixth Amendment lists a number of rights that are designed to provide accused person with fair trials. Okay, so let's start with a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. The right to a speedy trial means that people cannot be kept in jail for a long period of time before being judged at a trial. A speedy trial ensures that witnesses testify while their memories of the events are still fresh. Okay, the more time you spend waiting, the less time people can remember things. Okay? Public means that the trials may not be held in secret, and the citizens have a right to attend trials to make sure that justice is being done. An accused person also has the right to be judged by a jury of people who live in his or her area. The jury must be impartial, which means that jurors are not prejudiced or influenced against the defendant. That's why sometimes they get sequestered or they get kept in a hotel, because you don't want them to be influenced by the news media or other people. Courts also have said that prosecutors cannot exclude potential jurors just because of their race or their gender. Before a trial, the prosecutor has to tell the accused person not only the charge, but the time and place of the supposed crime. This information is essential to the accused person in preparing his or her defense. Okay, there can't be any surprises. Everything has to be out in the open. The defendant also has the right to hear and question all witnesses who testify at the trial. They also can ask the court to order unwilling witnesses to testify against their wishes. So if a person says, I don't want to testify, you can subpoena them and make them testify. And then finally, a defendant has a right to an attorney to assist his or her defense. So in the past, people had to pay to have a lawyer, and if you didn't have the money, then you just didn't have a lawyer. But today, if you're accused of a crime, a lawyer is provided for you if you can't pay for one. The Seventh Amendment says, in suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of a trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. So the Seventh Amendment really is about civil trial rights. Okay? Not all trials involve criminal action. Some trials decide civil cases or disputes between people or businesses. Civil cases typically involve money, property, family matters, sometimes divorce. All right? So the Seventh Amendment says that in all but the most minor cases, people involved in a civil case have a right to a jury trial. The Seventh Amendment also says that no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined. And this means that after a jury decides the facts of a case, no judge can override what the jury decided. The Eighth Amendment says, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. The Eighth Amendment protects an accused person's rights both before and after a trial. Before a trial, it keeps a judge from demanding an excessive bail or a lot of bail. And what bail is it's money or property that you give to a court to hold to make sure that you show up for trial. If a defendant cannot pay bail, he or she stays in jail until the trial, plain and simple. The Eighth Amendment protects judges from using unreasonably high bail to keep someone in jail before his or her day in court. So if you get caught stealing a pack of bubble gum at Sheetz, they can't give you and this is a bad example, but they can't give you a bail of, say, $1 million because they want to make sure you stay in jail. After trial, if a person is found guilty, The Eighth Amendment also forbids excessive fines and cruel and unusual punishments. All right. Now, it doesn't really say what the punishments may or may not be, but you got to remember, back in the 1700s, some of the punishments might be whipping or branding or something like that, and those today would be considered cruel. So the term that a justice called Thurgood Marshall, and you guys have read about him, said that a penalty that was permissible at one time in a nation's history is not necessarily permissible today. And we also know that the Constitution is a living document, so it can change as the times change. So now we really kind of try to make our punishments proportionate to the crime that has been committed. Okay, so now we're on to the Ninth Amendment. The Ninth Amendment says, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So what the Ninth Amendment really boils down to is rights retained by the people. Okay, so one of the arguments raised against putting a Bill of Rights in the Constitution was that there was no way to list every single right that a person might have. Okay, some of the rights would be listed and others wouldn't be. So would this mean that people only had the rights that were listed? Or did they have maybe some rights that weren't listed but we still have them? So what the Ninth Amendment says, it's pretty much like a catch-all. It says that even though certain rights are listed in the Constitution, other rights not listed are also kept by the people. An example of this is the right to privacy. You can read the Constitution frontwards, backwards, upside down. Nowhere in there does it say anything about the right to privacy. But we have that right because of the Ninth Amendment. And finally, the 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. So this is a really simple one. Basically what this says is the 10th Amendment protects states from excessive federal power. It says that powers not given to the national government by the Constitution are automatically reserved to the states or to the people. Real simple. So there you have it. That's our Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. All of the amendments, all 27 are important, but the first 10 were extremely important, are still extremely important, and it's very important, if not extremely important, that you guys understand all 10 of these rights, because they're really the foundation of your rights as an American citizen. So the assignment is listed, and I'll talk to you again on Monday. Have a good weekend.